were treated to an instrumental version of God Bless America during Friday night's Yankee game instead of singer Kate Smith's rendition, which has been playing at many games during the seventh-inning stretch at the stadium since just after 9/11. That's because in the 1930s, Smith sang songs with racist lyrics that demeaned black people. In a statement, the Yankees say they're investigating and, quote, take social, racial, and cultural insensitivities very seriously.
The Philadelphia Flyers have announced that they will stop using Kate Smith's recording of God Bless America before games. The team has also covered up a statue of her outside the sports complex. It all comes after learning about the singer's alleged history of racism.
I did want to get to this story. Kate Smith won't be joining us on the cruise because Kate Smith died in 1986. But the Yankees always used to play Kate Smith singing God Bless America during the seventh inning stretch. They have now ceased. As of yesterday, they have decided to suspend using her recording while they investigate claims of racism against the singer. And she sang, God Bless America. And the Yankees always used to play that during the seventh inning stretch. And the Yankees, the New York Yankees, used to have great musical jokes. Their best musical jokes was at the end of the game. If they'd won the game, they played Frank Sinatra singing New York, New York. And if they lost the game, they played Liza Minnelli singing New York, New York. And that is a great, I don't care, that's a great musical joke. And then for some reason or other, it was decided that was sexist or whatever. And so they stopped doing that musical joke with Frank and Liza. And then in the seventh inning stretch, they used to play, until last week, they played, well, it can't be have we started baseball season yet? They always played Kate Smith doing God Bless America. As of today, they've decided they're not going to do that. They're going to play organ. And this is because, in the 1930s, she sang a song called That's Why Darkies Were Born, from the Broadway review, George White's Scandals.
Brothers, listen to me. Someone had picked cotton. Someone had planted corn. Someone had a slave and be able to sing. That's why donkeys were born.
And this was a sort of it was like a semi-satirical song of the day. And a lot of black guys did it, including Paul Robeson. Who is not only black, but a communist. He's like a blackface version of Bernie Sanders, except that I think Bernie is a little older than Paul Robeson. And so all kinds of people, black, white, or whatever, sang this song. Just happened to be one thing she made a record of. I'm looking at this picture from Philadelphia of the statue in downtown Philly that has now been covered up in black bundling. It looks like she looks like she's in a burqa. You can't tell. It's like the full niqab. It looks like she's the third child bride of Mullah Omar now, near the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Because the Flyers have also cut ties with Kate Smith over her because she made thousands of records, and she happened to sing this one song, so therefore she's totally racist, so she has to look like the third child bride of Mullah Omar, all covered up in black, on the streets of Philadelphia. you know, as I said, we are the most, I think we're devolving into the most moronic society that has ever existed. We have all human knowledge at the click of a button, at the click of a Google button. And we can't actually take the trouble. We can click it and we can see it and we can pull up, you know, this or that record or this or that lyric. But we can't, we've lost the capacity to understand that the point about people at different times in history is they're not like we are now. That people change, that societies change, that societies have different attitudes. And now we're basically punishing Kate Smith. We've covering up the statue of Kate Smith because she's not woke. She didn't know she had to be woke. She died in 1986, and on her deathbed, maybe the nurse leaned over and said, "Hey, you were a pretty good singer. You had the pipes, but you should have been more woke." Oh, what does that mean? Gone. We're punishing the past for not being us. That's actually a totalitarian thing to do, because you're saying we live in such a hyper version of the present tense now that the past cannot possibly conform to it, so if it doesn't, it's got to be killed. The statues have got to be taken down. The songs have to cease being sung. Kate Smith singing God Bless America. God Bless America itself is not problematic yet, although it is to most people. It's culturally insensitive to suggest that God should bless America instead of blessing Yemen. But it's not yet ready to be banned. But the singer who sings God Bless America also sang a song that we shouldn't be singing, so therefore her entire oeuvre, her entire catalogue has to be buried. This is deeply totalitarian. Go back to that thing where the New York Times is saying that Trump playing Edelweiss is a racist dog whistle. Apparently it comes from this use in, what's it called? Some new show with tower in the word. What is it? Watchtower, Dark Tower, something like that, that all the millennials are hot for. So they think it was written for that. And they have no idea that it was, that in fact it has a 60-year history before that. And again, it's this inability to live in anything but the moment, which is actually what Faust did his deal with the devil over. Remember Faust? He was big. He was, again, we couldn't have him now. We'd have to cover up his statue. He wouldn't be allowed to sing New York, New York at a Yankees game. But Faust's deal with the devil was he sold his soul in order that he might just live in the moment forever. And that's exactly what we're doing now when we have things like demanding that Kate Smith be obliterated because she wasn't woke. They've got some new, while we're demonizing Edelweiss as Nazi, Oklahoma is also, they've done a new dark version of Oklahoma, which is set now and opens with sort of gingham checkerboard picnic things, but all these sinister gun racks on the wall surrounding the stage. So it's a dark Oklahoma. It's like it's a Woklahoma in effect. And so they're now doing this to everything. The past has to be punished for not thinking like us. And actually, this is what turns people into midgets, into imaginatively stunted people. They lack the capacity to imagine anything other than themselves. The world is a giant mirror to them. So if you're hyper woke, you expect to look into the mirror and just see you and yourself reflected back at you. And if instead you look into the mirror and somewhere in the mirror Kate Smith is singing God Bless America, that's wrong. That shouldn't be in the mirror. The world has to look like you, not just the present, but the entirety of human history has to look like you. And that's the world we've built.